the government, the French government, technically helped the American, what would be America.
Yeah.
So I guess they maybe didn't feel right helping the people that helped them in the first place. You know, the government, like you know, the government helped us win, so let's not help these people fight the government. But it was clearly America was, you know, the people fighting the government, and France, it was the people fighting the government.
Yeah.
You know, but
like, we had our own shit going on. We were a new country. We can
we just got our shit figured out, guys.
Yeah,
give us a break.
Give us a few hundred years before we start putting our noses into things. Now our noses are in everything.
Right.
But,
yeah. If there's ever a war that involves the whole world, then we'll get involved.
Yeah.
Maybe around 1914. You know, call us then. A world war, if you will.
Yeah.
Then we'll help. Right. Otherwise, lose our number.
Yeah. This is Geek Off The Street, your go-to channel for all things from obscure geekdom to modern-day pop culture and everything else in between. What's up, everybody?
Hey. Hello.
Is it a surprise that we're back on Wednesday?
No. They've been holding their breath, waiting for it.
Yeah.
Waiting for it.
Yeah. You know we're coming back every time.
Every time.
You can count on us.
Bam.
Yeah.
Like something dependable.
Something dependable.
I got
nothing. I was gonna say, not like my car. No, our car was to user error.
That car was
a bad example.
Anyway, of course, I'm out for the car.
My name is Trent.
And my name is Marc.
And this is Geek Off The Street. Greatest podcast of all time. Talk about geek culture, pop culture, and whatever else we want. Deal with it. Deal with it. And this week's... Oh, sorry.
And today's no exception.
Yes, it is not, because we're covering the newly released...
Yes, Netflix series, Castlevania Nocturne.
Yeah, actually, is it like it's not more of a sequel. They call it a spin-off, but it is a sequel.
Yeah, I would 100% say it's a sequel.
Yeah.
I've heard people saying that too. It's a spin-off.
It's like 300 years in the future. 300 years past Castlevania.
Same story.
Same people,
just further along.
Same bloodline. Give or take. Yeah, so we're covering that. If you guys don't know what that is, it's on Netflix.
Right. Yeah, I think the original Castlevania series on Netflix came out in 2017.
Yeah.
I think.
Ran for 4 seasons.
Yeah.
I think it ended in 2018. I know it took a long time between season 1 and 2.
Yeah. I think it wasn't that long ago, like maybe 21, I think it might have been. It wasn't too long ago.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty solid series.
Yeah,
I would say overall.
I think so too. And then this Nocturne is the sequel. I would say. I'm not gonna call it a spinoff because it's a sequel.
I would agree.
Yeah.
And I was really disappointed when that last season came out. I thought, well, okay, this is it for Castlevania.
Yeah.
So that's all we get to see. But yeah, they managed to bring out some more. So it's appreciated.
Yeah, excellent. That's what we're gonna talk about today.
Yes, we are.
Before we get into that. How are we doing this weekend? What are we drinking?
Yes.
Drink first?
Drink first.
Okay, I'm calling this a drink, the Devourer of Light, or the Light Devourer. What did I call it? I forgot.
I think you said, I think you said Devourer of Light.
Devourer of Light. Who is the main antagonist of the Nocturne series?
Okay.
So that's what they call her, or the Vampire Messiah, or all these other things. Yeah, all those goofy names.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically it has
pretentious.
Basically has a little bit of vodka, blue curacao, grenadine, and cherry schnapps.
That's a new one. Cherry
schnapps. A little sweet drink. Pretty tasty.
Yeah, very tasty.
Yeah, if you want to know how to make it, it's going to be on the short. On
right,
YouTube.
Watch that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, not bad at all.
Yeah, very, it's sweet, but it's not like super sweet.
Overly sweet, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like candy or whatever, so.
Yeah, so definitely.
Yeah, you can comfortably drink that.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Very good, very good.
But how are we doing this week?
What are we doing? Week was good. Just watching stuff. What else did I watch besides Castlevania? I know we were talking about FLCL, so I watched some of that.
Oh, yeah.
What else did I do? Not too much. Overwatch has some new... I don't know why I keep talking about Overwatch. I hate the game, but I play it every day. So, they have some Halloween. They always do like stuff for Halloween.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's always pretty cool. It's entertaining. So that's fun to do. So
did you do that? This week?
Yeah, I did a lot of that, and I worked. I did overtime.
Overtime? You're just an overtime fiend for some reason.
Go freaking!
You're not that guy either.
I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. I am that guy.
Seem like a real company man right now.
Yeah. Sell out.
Yeah. But yeah, nice, man. Not much for me either. Totaled my car. My car is totaled.
Yes.
Got the word back. So I'm just kind of waiting to be able to get a new car.
Right.
Gonna do some test driving tomorrow.
Right, nice.
But yeah, it's a bummer. My Prius, rest in peace.
Yeah.
I love that car. For all the people that talk crap about Priuses, you don't know what 50 miles a gallon is like until you drive it. And then you have to get a rental.
Especially in this day and age,
Yeah, and then you have to get a rental that's not that.
Yeah.
You don't know what it's like. So don't judge me. Prius is an amazing car. And I...
How often would you have to put gas in the Prius?
I mean, the tank's only 10 gallons, so I would have to fill it up like every week and a half.
Okay.
But I drive, my round trip is like 65 miles for work.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I did every 4 days a week.
Okay.
And then plus whatever else I do on the weekend. But still about a week and a half filling up. Sometimes a week if I drive too much, but a week and a half was the average.
Really?
Fill it up. And 10-gallon tank, so it was like $44 to fill up, $45 to fill up.
Yeah.
If it was really completely empty. So yeah, great car, man. I love it.
I'm not even sure how often I put gas in the car. It's too much though. I don't like it. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it's not fun at all, man.
Yeah.
Freaking
sucks, but yeah. Anything else?
No, just work, man. I mentioned that I hate my job.
I think you might have said that once or twice or 100 times.
Yeah, it is. Soapbox real quick. I don't like my job. Everyone knows that. It's a stressful job here and there.
Yeah.
It's just senseless to me. Like it's a job that I don't feel anything about. So I feel like life is too short to do something you spend the whole time doing something you hate. My job. So working real hard to get out of there, but we're doing this, trying to build things, trying to do some other things too.
Yeah.
Build our brand here. But it's motivation for that, just to get out.
Yeah. So, it's temporary, man. It's temporary. Hang on
keep that in mind. If you guys hate what you do, change it.
Yeah.
Because it's not effing worth it, man.
Yeah. Try to find something that you're into, and you don't have to be the best person at it, even if you're doing something related to what you're into.
There you go.
It's better than doing something you hate or dislike, or it's gonna take years off your life. So
literally, literally,
the
it's
stress,
gonna take your time,
and depression, and
exactly. So crazy. Anyway, that's that.
Well, there was also, as the time of this recording, today, Saturday, there was an eclipse today.
Oh, was there?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, it was from where we were. I believe it was going to be a partial eclipse or a. I forget the term they have for it.
Yeah.
But if you had like the the special glasses or way to view it or whatever.
What time was it at?
It was in the morning. It was like 8. I want to say around 8:20 or something in the morning.
So like in the fall,
Yeah.
Or like in the fall, winter, like during the daytime, those like kind of long shadows where it's like it's still light out, but like it just feels like it's not as bright as like in the middle of summer. That's what it felt like to me this morning.
Oh, okay.
And it might have been around that time.
Okay.
I was outside. I was at work. I'm outside all day, so
right on.
I noticed that kind of in the morning.
Yeah, I think it was, and again, it's one of those things where you had to have like special glasses or something to look at it. And
Don't look directly at the sun, guys. Write that down. Yeah, to be told that down. Yeah, it's not.
And I know I had some too, and I was looking for them, and I could not find them anywhere. But I think when we were making room for the studio, I found them. And I was like, I should probably hang on to these.
I remember you talking about it. Yeah.
And then, no idea where I put them. That's just how I get down. But I actually did find some. I found some stuff that I've been looking for forever and a day.
Yeah. You've been talking about those for a while. Also. Yeah. So you found some other stuff. Yeah.
Give and take. It was
that's a common thing in Mark's life. Yeah.
He's not lying. Yeah. Everybody's like, did you just take a shot at Mark? No, he's telling the truth. Yeah. He's telling the truth. It's
two different things, man. Yeah. You take a shot, you know I'm taking a shot. Yeah. So.
You'll know
Well, maybe you don't actually, because maybe it sounds like I'm taking digs at you, but.
On a regular basis, man. I don't appreciate it.
Hey, man.
Deal with it.
Yeah, deal with it, man.
Nice. Deal with it.
But yeah, anyway. So otherwise, though, that's been our week, I guess.
Yeah.
But we haven't done shout outs in a while, man. I've forgotten the last three episodes we haven't done shout outs. But here's the kicker. I don't really have any shout outs. So do you have any shout outs to make?
No. Shout out to the fans. Shout out to I don't know. I'm making up stuff.
Not really anyone who listens to the show. I mean, it's a big deal for us. Like I know we like joke around a lot and we say a lot of weird things, but we do mean that when people like listen to our podcast, check out the videos, like, share, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
we appreciate it a lot. And even people that comment and talk to us, like it's cool.
Man.
Yeah. Keeps things going because it's not easy to do this podcast. It really isn't. It's a lot of work for us to get this out every week and to record and do all this stuff. It's a lot of work. A lot of planning, kinda.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, kinda. Yeah. So if you guys receive it the way that you do, it means a lot to us because it makes it worth it. So, but yeah, really not a huge, not tons of shout outs, but thanks to MC Podcast for responding to us all the time.
Yeah.
They've cleared up our Melbourne thing.
Oh, did they? What did they say?
They did say that it's the Aussie way of saying it, and then in quotes lazy way of pronouncing things.
Okay.
So it has to do with the Australian accent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not.
So the R is there for a reason.
Yeah, it's there for a reason. There is an R in there. It's
Right.
just the way it's pronounced from like
just the way they say it. That
so they
makes
cleared it up.
sense.
I don't want to brag that I was right.
Right.
But
I mean, yeah,
like,
again, because it was like I made the comparison. Like with England, they don't. If there's a T in the middle of the word, they don't say it. With some, maybe it's like a Cockney thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
They'll say, "Oh, can you pass a butter, mate?"
That's
whatever,
great.
or even mate. They don't even say the T in
They
mate.
don't say mate. Yeah.
So like you don't go around saying no. You don't say butter. You say but.
Yeah.
That's how you say it. You don't say mate, you say mate, and you leave it at that. It's like
right, yeah. Look, great example. Do you remember Jamie from Amazon?
Yes, I do.
Bearded Jamie.
Yeah. I still talk to him.
Yeah,
everyone.
Yeah, great guy. He commented about that.
Nice.
And he was saying like, great point. We have cities here. I went to Boston and I pretty much mispronounced everything. And I was like, yeah, no, you're right. Everybody, every city, every region in America, we have all different dialects as well. Different
so
accents.
interesting.
Yeah,
so interesting.
Exactly. Yeah, nobody thinks they have an accent.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is also interesting.
Yeah. But then I told him, I was like, yeah, but if you came back from Boston and told everybody in California that no, you don't say park, it's pronounced pack. Yeah, pack. Yeah, pack. I was like, I look at you funny because that's not how we say it here. You know what I mean? So it's, so it's kind of like that. It's like that situation, right? So like for people to come back from another country and be like, oh, that's not how you say it. Like, that's how they say it.
Stop.
You're not one of them.
Yeah,
you're one of us.
Exactly. So get your act together.
Get your head out of your ass. Right.
I remember hearing a story a long time ago about a teacher that from America went to Japan to teach English.
Yeah.
And she was teaching her students English, but she was from Texas and had a country accent. So everybody, when they were pronouncing words, these Japanese students, they had like a country accent on their words. Oh, that's gold. This was a long time ago, but I never even thought like, that makes sense. I was a kid when I heard that story.
That's hilarious.
That is gold.
They're going over there doing
right,
it.
Yeah,
or even from the East Coast.
Yeah. Right. They're just going over there and they're speaking and they're teaching the way they say stuff. Man, that would be so great for just a bunch of Japanese people coming over to America.
Sound like their country accent. Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
So great.
Yeah, that reminds me of that SNL skit that you sent me.
With the stupid Japanese.
I'm from Redondo Beachiru.
Beachiru.
That was like the fun. That was so.
That was
funny,
spot
man.
on too, because that's like kind of how.
Yeah, let me tell you, man. I took Japanese when I was in college because I wanted to learn. I'm Japanese. I wanted to learn Japanese. I spent some time doing it, and I think I was the only Japanese person in there, Japanese ethnically person in there. And there are probably 4 or 5 other Asian people in there. Everybody else was white, and they were very similar to that.
Yeah,
very similar to that. Yeah, very. It was really odd to see people that are white but have those mannerisms that they clearly learned from anime or something, or places like that. And it was odd. Yeah. It's kind of odd to interact with people like that, So
that is
just like that. It reminded me of that skit.
Go watch that skit on SNL. You can find it anywhere, but just look for like, I don't know, Japanese or exchange students. They weren't exchange students.
It was like the Japanese radio show or something.
Yeah,
like that.
they had a show of their own. Yeah. Yeah. They had their professor was like,
Jason Sudeikis,
he's trying to be positive. That's great, guys, but there's more to the culture than
all our things too. He's like, nope, that's not for me. That wasn't me. I didn't teach you that.
It's gold. That's funny.
That was hilarious.
When I first saw that, I was like, what?
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Anywho,
let's pour one more round of this Devourer of Light.
Yeah.
And then get into this show. I'm gonna make you. I'm gonna twist your arm, right?
Yeah, twist my arm. Ow, ow,
ow, ow. Don't make me drink. But yeah. So anyway, let's get into some Nocturne, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. So again, like we were saying, we're talking about this 8-episode series called Castlevania Nocturne. It's a sequel to the first original animated series.
Yeah. Great series, I think, though.
Yeah. I think so too. And it centers around these vampire hunters.
Yeah, vampire hunters,
magicians, I guess,
or sorcerers. I think
sorcerers, what you call them. Yeah. That hunt these creatures of the night. Yeah, and that's basically what this series is about. Also, there's a newer vampire threat that also has some godlike abilities.
Yeah.
Who is the devourer of light? But yeah, and that's basically they had to deal with this threat.
Right.
During your favorite era of
I was just about to say too, the French Revolution is a fantastic period in history. I mean, for all the wrong reasons. But yeah, I've talked about it before. Like, we had our revolution in America, and once everything was said and done, everything settled. We had our Constitution. We had our Bill of Rights. We were doing all this stuff. We were ready to rock and roll.
Right.
They had their revolution, and they tore each other apart. And then they did it again. I can't remember what it was called right now. I was going to look it up, too. It was something called I can't remember. It wasn't the Happenings, but it was
the French Revolution Part 2.
Yeah. Sure, why not? Yeah.
The Redux.
And the bad thing is part of the reason why we're getting off topic a little bit. They had the French Revolution because they were helping America. They were assisting America with the revolution because, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right?
Yeah,
you guys want to fight England? We'll give you everything we need. Yeah, we'll help you out.
They still hate each other.
And
we talking about that, yeah.
Go fig. Yeah. Go fig. And and then it went nuts, and then they spent a lot of money doing it, which just kind of added. There were other problems going on.
Yeah.
But then their, shit fell apart, and the French people turned to America and were like, "Hey guys, we're having a revolution now too. You want to help us out?" And America was like, "What?"
Telegram didn't make it across the Atlantic. Yeah,
they're like, "What? We can't."
You're breaking up.
That was like, wow, guys.
Yeah.
And again, I guess it was one of those things where, no, you know what? Now that I think about it, it doesn't make any sense because they were like, no, the French government technically helped the American, what would be America.
Yeah.
So I guess they maybe didn't feel right helping the people that helped them in the first place. The government, the government helped us win, so let's not help these people fight the government. But it was clearly America was, the people fighting the government. In France, it was the people fighting the government.
Yeah.
But
we had our own shit going on. We were a new country. We can
we just got our shit figured out, guys.
Yeah,
give us a break.
Give us a few hundred years before we start putting our noses into things. Now our noses are in everything.
Right.
But,
if there's ever a war that involves the whole world, then we'll get involved.
Yeah.
Maybe around 1914. Call us then.
A
world war, if you will.
Yeah.
Then we'll help.
Right.
Otherwise, lose our number.
Yeah.
So we fucking ghosted France.
Yeah. And which left the perfect opportunity for these vampires to move into
they moved right in. They moved right in. So I love that. I love the concept of, they're telling the story amongst history that, of course, like, these monsters would take advantage of the chaos of the French Revolution. I thought the same thing about, like, the plague. That'd be a great time to tell a vampire story or maybe some sort of monster story.
Right.
Because there's so much chaos and so much death going on.
That's the time to make you move.
Exactly. If you are a creature of the night, it's the best time to do it. You know?
Yeah.
So, and that's like you said, this is when this show takes place. So, but.
Basically, yeah. That's based. I mean, we kind of got in the plot, I guess. That's good enough. Yeah, it's straightforward. What do we like about it?
Well, I know this is like always the first thing that I say typically, especially when it comes to animation, but I think it's justified.
Animation style?
The animation style. Yeah. It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah.
I thought I saw somewhere where someone was making a complaint saying that the show felt like it was rushed or whatever.
This one?
This one, yeah. I didn't feel that way. I don't know. I guess you can always expand on it more, but clearly, just spoilers throughout the whole episode here, guys. But it is set up. There is going to be another season.
Yeah,
there has to be another season.
Yeah,
but getting back to the animation, it didn't feel rushed at all. The animation quality in this was fantastic. Yeah. It felt different from a lot of other animes, like I said, it's anime-esque.
Yeah.
It felt different from a lot of other animated shows that are out there. You can see some similarities between other things here and there, but for the most part, it has its own style, which is very cool as far as like the character design and all that kind of stuff. But the artwork itself, as far as like the coloring and the background, man, it was beautiful.
Amazing.
It's fantastic. It was great.
I agree. Yeah, I watched all of Castlevania like over the last 2 weeks, and then watched the next all of season 1 of Nocturne today. Or maybe episode 2 through 8 today.
Okay, wow.
So I did a lot of Castlevania, and in that time, that stood out hugely. Was the animation style, and then the fight sequences, man, are so stylized.
They're great.
And so but even like the actual like choreography, I guess if you call it, the fighting and the sharpness and the detail, like. I think that happens in some animes too, where it shifts. Like when the fight scenes come in, it just gets real sharp and real stylized.
Right, yeah.
And that happened. You can see that. Like you see like a lot of the cross hatching, I guess that style of art. Where you see that kind of sharpness. But it was awesome, man. Yeah. Like those fight sequences were amazing. I don't know. I don't remember seeing anything other than some of those Mushoku Tensei fight scenes where it gets real sharp during the sword fights and stuff.
Right.
Like it kind of reminded me of that, but like. Outside of that, though, I haven't seen anything that's quite like this.
Nice.
And the fight, man, I was in awe from the fight scenes. They're fantastic. Right. Yeah. So yeah, animation sequences. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Great.
Fantastic.
I do like. What do I like? I mean, I guess I'm gonna kind of dip into the Castlevania and not
go for it. Of course.
But I do. I do like the characters overall. I like the original ones a little bit better. I like Trevor Belmont and and Sypha a little more. And their relationship with Alucard. I think that was a little better as of now. That was better. Yeah. But we're only in the first season of Nocturne.
Exactly.
But I'll get into some negatives about the characters I think later. Yeah. But overall though, I do like the story they're setting up. And obviously it's always there's always a bigger threat every time they do sequels or whatever. But I'm curious to see where they're going with this. Like, I mean, obviously, the whole time she's like, I'm a god. And I was like, okay, you're just a big-headed vampire. Yeah, and then literally, at last 2 episodes, she kind of is a god. Like, she gets these, like, Egyptian powers. Yeah. And they can't even touch her. And it's like, maybe she is some kind of deity.
Yeah, she made it sound like she was a child of I don't know if it was Set or Ra or something like that. I think maybe it was Ra and then she was talking about how she loved Ra, the sun god, but then she turns around and she hates him. I don't know if she said the reasons, but maybe we'll get into that at some point. But so maybe she is.
Right. And I do like that they're kind of pushing thing. Like it's obviously this 300 years past or since the first series took place, so you're seeing some of the developments in some of their abilities, Like Maria has some different magical abilities that weren't in the past, these other ones. And then also with Richter, he's a magic user and a hand-to-hand combat guy, I guess. Yeah. Which is the combination of Sypha and Trevor Belmont.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
So you see the lineage, the development going forward. I guess with his mom too, with Julia Belmont. And then I like that they're actually developing the night creatures a little bit more now too. They're not just they're kind of just not just senseless monsters anymore. Yeah. With this with Edward.
Yeah. That was interesting. But I'll let you continue. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're kind of taking certain things and kind of upgrading it to or continuing some things that were set up in the original series. Yeah. And just making it a little bit bigger, developing a lot much more. Yeah. And you can see where it's coming from. And some of them are pretty, a lot of them are pretty good, choices to push the story forward. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm kind of cool with the world building. It seems like it's so far that's pretty cool.
Right. Yeah. I was watching some Korra the Last Airbender or the last, whatever.
Oh
Korra,
yeah.
I was watching or the last
Legend of Korra.
Yeah, Legend of Korra. Thank you. Yeah, I was watching some of that, and that's one thing I liked about that show was that they expanded the universe. It was the future. is further along. So their development. So I see your point there.
That was probably I didn't finish it because I couldn't keep watching it, but that was pretty cool in the first season.
Yeah, it was very cool. It was
you see the technology changing, and even the Avatar isn't quite the person that he was in the past. Yeah, she was kind of like they're kind of just treating like a regular person in more ways, like not as in awe of who she is.
And that's kind of how things happen, right? As time progresses. Like back in the day, oh, you're like an ancient deity, and now it's like, oh, you're cool. Yeah, we know who you are. We have respect for your title, but I'm a little more independent now.
This is the city that you have nothing to do with.
Yeah. That's a great show, but that'll be something. They were good and bad, but we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah.
But my point is though, I see what you're talking about. Like, it makes sense that there would be progression as far as, you're not going to stay stagnant. Hopefully you're going to get better, improve, and pass that on. And Richter's a perfect example of that because he's the combination, and his mother, a combination of both those things. One thing that I liked about the show too was it was really interesting to me the church's stance.
Oh yeah.
And how they were working with and again, there are some spoilers here, but it still makes it's not, I take that it is a spoiler, but if you've got like any kind of common sense, like it's no surprise when you saw the bishop or whatever it was.
The abbot,
The abbot, thank you. It's like you could tell this guy was evil. I mean, like right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Or, or he was, or he was skirting that line.
Yeah.
So there's no surprise there. Yeah. But I liked the conflict that he was in and that his the main knight, I can't think of his name right now, his protector.
Yeah.
But the conflict that they were both in.
Right, yeah.
So again, the French Revolution, the world at this point, has always been, it's always been very religious. So then there was this, the French Revolution, they were trying to bring in this age of reason.
Oh, yeah.
Where they were getting rid, I shouldn't say getting rid of, but I guess technically they were getting rid of like gods and religion and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, it was called the Age of Reason. So you have this priest that's over here, and he's thinking like, I don't want to get rid of religion. This is what I've, built my whole life around. And then he has his knight.
And I also don't want to go to the guillotine.
Yeah. And I don't.
If I could help it,
Yeah. So he makes the deal. He kind of makes that hard choice, that tough choice where he says, I'm going to essentially, kind of make a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
And he basically is able to create these night creatures. And I forgot about night creatures because I watched the first season of the original story when it came out. And I went into this almost brand new. Like I've forgotten a lot of it. I know the Belmonts and all that, but that's about it. So I forgot about the night creatures.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, they were actually pretty integral in that original series, right?
Yeah, big part of it, yeah.
So it was cool actually, like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Someone's gonna, so he makes a deal with the devil to make night creatures, you know, not literally necessarily. But then he also makes another deal with the devil when he goes in league with this vampire god or goddess, whatever, just so he can maintain. So he can get rid of like the revolutionaries that are coming up, and they can maintain the whole religious aspect, the way of life that he's used to.
Right.
And clearly his goal is at some point to possibly double cross her, set her up, because one of the other vampires basically says that, like, you think like double crossing her is going to work. It's not going to, but we're going to try it anyway, whatever. So that conflict that he's in was very, very interesting. All this evil that he's doing, he is doing he's doing for God.
In the name of God,
in the weirdest, and it's not one of these weird things, and there's a lot going on in the world right now. Where it's not one of these weird things where it's like, I'm do something in the name of God, but it's just really so I can maintain my own power, my own authority. I don't want to give that up. I feel like he's honestly doing it for God. Which really, I don't know how you justify that. You know what I mean? How do you justify that to God when you sit down and pray?
Using the forces of evil to do something.
And this is like as evil as it gets when you're with these night creatures and how they're made and everything you do. It makes no sense. And then and then you have this noble knight that, I mean, he seems like he's he's doing it because he thinks the same reason, kind of. He's doing it for God, so he's supporting and protecting the abbot, but he knows what's going on. He knows what he's doing, but he's just so. He has this great moment where he meets Alak or something like that.
Oh yeah, Old Rock.
Yeah. Where he first meets him, and he's like basically saying, you don't know anything about faith. Faith is about a foundation. And that's what he's fighting for. Mm-hmm. He's fighting for the stability that, religion offers the world, especially, at that point in time, so it's really good. It's really great. Mm-hmm. And I was not expecting that from Castlevania, from this series. I was not expecting it to get that deep,
right? Or even from those specific characters.
Almost because they're the bad guys.
Yeah, at the beginning it's like cut and dry. These guys are the bad guys. Right. They're working with the vampires and these night creatures. They're making night creatures. They're evil. And then as it progresses, you see, that like the abbot and him, that night guy. Those were like perfectly written characters.
Yeah,
like, so many layers. So many layers. So many conflicts. So many ways they justified what they were doing, and then realized maybe this isn't the right way to do things, and like the abbot especially, man. And then when you find out that he has a daughter, and his daughter's Maria, and then with his mom Tara, I was like, oh, there's another layer.
Yeah,
like, holy shit, man, there's another layer to this guy. He was like the most. I mean, he's not really the likable guy at all, but he's the most one of the most interesting characters in this story,
right?
Because of the layers of conflict that he has. He was. That was fantastic.
Very surprising.
And then
really going for it.
And then you see that night kind of turn like back to like this isn't righteous. We got to be righteous. And and I was like, oh, I like him now too. He's pretty cool too.
And it makes sense that he would do that. But the abbot, I feel like he's too far. He's too far gone at this point. Not too far gone in the sense that he's like crazy or whatever, but he has his North Star that he clearly thinks this is the right thing to do, and he's not going to change on that. Even to the point where he's ready to sacrifice
his daughter,
which he clearly loves. He really loves her. And dude,
I love that moment when he's like going through the whole ritual and reciting the Bible verse, and then like when Tara shows up, he's like, "Where's the ram? I've been faithful to God. I've been doing this for God." I was like, "Where's the ram? He's supposed to stop me from doing this."
Yeah, that was nuts.
I was like, "Dude, this is getting like I don't like you, but I kind of feel for you. Like you're trying to be faithful, and you're waiting for the moment where God will help you.
Right.
And it's not coming. You know?
Yeah, that's weird.
I was like, dude, this is deep.
Yeah. And then the weird thing is, like, you figure while you're watching that episode, it's not going to come. Like, and you're like, dude, it's not going to come. It's not going to happen. You're in the wrong. You can't do this.
Yeah. Missed it. Oh, I think I got it.
I say MVP. So so he has this moment where, and as the audience, you're watching, like, there's no ram, there's no last minute miracle.
Yeah.
And then even Tara, Maria's mother, says, like, she had a great argument when she came in. It's like, God, he didn't kill, when Abraham was going to sacrifice his son or whatever. The point is, he never did it. You're about to do it.
You're about to do it, yeah.
And then so you're thinking, like, okay, it's not going to happen. You effed up. And then further along, it's like, Tara's like, I'll do it.
I'm the ram.
What?
What's happening now?
The ram showed up?
Yeah.
So if I ever heard the abbot, I'd been like, I did it. I did it. I was right. Me and you, God, we did it. If I was the abbot, I'd be like, oh, I nailed it.
Yeah.
Clearly, I was right in everything I'm doing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty bonkers.
Yeah, that was a tense ass part of that show. Like, it was coming to a head there. I was like,
and I thought it was resolved. Like, there is no ram. And then it was like, oh shit.
Let's take it up another notch.
Yeah.
One more notch. Yeah.
And Tara was great. I liked Tara.
Yeah, she was a great character, man. I thought she was fantastic. So that was God, that was so intricately written, man.
Yeah.
I loved that so much. Yeah.
And I was not expecting it to get this
deep, right? Yeah.
And even the previous Castlevania episodes, they had some really good characters.
Yeah.
With some, with their own twist and
whatever else they were doing. Here and there.
Yeah, right. But I don't think it got like this.
No, I don't think it did either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it did either. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a very clear right and wrong in Castlevania, I think.
Yeah.
This was much more complicated as far as who's 100% right, who's 100% wrong. Nobody really was, So
right.
Yeah, it was kind of a lot that took it to the next level. Again, another thing that took it to the next level was that storytelling, that depth.
Yeah. Really, yeah.
Fantastic.
Solid.
Yeah. Where is God in all of this? He hasn't been around in any of these seasons.
Yeah, God's just doing what he does. He's like, you figured it out. You figured it out.
The first run of Castlevania, and then this one, like, you see a lot of the hell stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of vampires, a lot of hell creatures, a lot of opening gates to hell.
Right.
Where's God at, man?
Yeah.
Aren't you supposed to be helping?
And I thought about that, like, in a more general sense, that you always will see, not always, but you'll see like hell and whatnot in a lot of like in TV shows, animated movies, whatever. You always see hell, but you hardly ever see God. And I'm not trying to like be, beat the religious drum or whatever, because I am definitely not that guy.
Yeah.
But I have a story concept idea. I'll tell you about it one day. That deals more with, like, because everyone always has like hell and demons in their stories. Why isn't, like, there's no God representation, right? So and it's but I get what you're saying though, like, where is, but that's what God does.
Like in this world, it's clear that they both have to exist.
Yeah.
Because if these evil monsters exist,
and
there has to be the good ones
they're
too.
pretty evil.
Yeah, because it can't just be like all of hell and then the Belmonts.
Yeah, and it seems like with these night creatures, it seems like there is some sort of hell pact or demon pact going on,
Right, yeah.
There's always been an argument, or in different franchises that, like, oh, vampirism, it's a disease. Like with Blade, it was more like a physiological thing. It was it wasn't anything supernatural.
Oh, yeah.
In this, it's definitely clearly supernatural.
Yeah.
So, it seems like there should be, there is, God somewhere, but,
where's he at?
He typically doesn't get directly involved.
Yeah.
From what I know about him.
Yeah, right. Because is he the one that's helping the speakers or the good magic, or like I don't know.
Yeah, that's an interesting point too. Yeah, the
quote unquote good magic. Is there good magic and bad magic? I guess.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing too, right?
Yeah.
I know one of the I can't remember the girl's name. I think she's technically. Oh, that's another interesting thing too. Like a lot of these characters, they are actual characters from the Castlevania series. It wasn't something they made up for the animated.
From the game?
From the games.
Okay.
From the multiple games. Yeah. I can't remember the name of the one. And I like the enslaved people that came over.
Oh, Annette. Yeah.
Annette. Yeah, like Annette's supposed to be descended from gods. That's the point I was about to try to make.
Yeah.
But I like that concept too, that they were, or at least she was an enslaved person.
Yeah.
And, she has some sort of, magical power about herself, and she was able to get out and come over.
Yeah.
And then her friend, I think, I don't know if they based him on the actual, there was I believe he was a French citizen. Well, I think everybody knows the name Chevalier. A musician, he was a composer.
Yeah.
And I think they made a movie about him recently too, actually. It seemed like that character was based on him.
Okay.
That he was a black French person or whatever the case may be, that had, that did music. Chevalier composed music. He played, but he composed music. This guy in the TV show, he sang.
Yeah.
So clearly, and it seemed like he was clearly of a mixed lineage. So was Chevalier. So it was, even like Alexander Dumas is descended from the guy that wrote Three Musketeers and, Man in the Iron Mask, Count of Monte Cristo.
I think Jesus wrote Three Musketeers.
Look that up.
If you guys watch The World's End, you're right. One of my favorite movies from him. Yeah, all of his movies are my favorite. But yeah, it's one of my favorite lines. Yeah.
Yes. Another example of a black French person, with the mixed lineage kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Again, it's a great time period. I like that they had these characters, that they fought for their independence and whatnot. it was really interesting. It was they had a lot of different these elements. There's Richter was basically he was from America, and their revolution just ended.
Yeah.
So now you got the French Revolution. Now you got these other characters that had their revolution. I guess is probably based on the revolution they had in Haiti and whatnot. So when the slaves, got their freedom.
Yeah.
So really
cool. They tied a lot of the historical, true historical things.
Yeah. And it's an interesting time. And it's interesting too. Like they're dealing with the Age of Reason in France. And, there's still like this whole magical, supernatural, and typically that's kind of involved with a level of, ignorance, for lack of a better way to put it.
Yeah.
That, these two things are kind of colliding. You got like the magic and the superstition, and you got the reason and the logic, that's going on in that time period, and then like the original cast, they fought. When they were fighting, that was technically in the Dark Ages still.
Oh yeah.
So now we're kind of swinging out of the Dark Ages.
Yeah.
I think there's some debate maybe on when the Dark Ages might have technically ended. I think there's some debate on when it ended or when it started too. But it's an interesting time. It was a great idea to put the show at this point in time, man. So I would love it if they, once they wrap this up,
jump another,
jump some more, jump another. Couple years, 100 years, whatever you need to do.
Cool to cover, get into like the World Wars, maybe even the Civil Rights.
World War I would be a great time. That'd be a great time. Because again, it'd be the exact same thing, right? There's a lot of death and a lot of chaos and confusion.
Yeah.
Just like the French Revolution. I mentioned, the plague and whatnot.
Yeah, people fighting for power.
Yeah, that would be a fantastic time to do it. World War I. Guys, if you're listening...
Yeah, we'll help you write it.
Yeah, clearly we've already done the heavy lifting for you.
Yeah, we got you.
So right, and then you can turn that into a video game, because I'm pretty sure like the video game material, I think is almost. I think they've dipped into most of it. I think at this point, because again, a lot of these characters are based on characters that are from the multiple video games they've had. So I don't think they've ever made a Castlevania that took place in the 20th century.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Do that.
Yeah, even more modern.
I'll throw another at you. Make another Castlevania that takes place in the 24th century. Can you imagine Castlevania, but in the future?
Yeah.
And there's still, you got like holdouts using magic?
Yeah. Lightsabers probably. Laser guns.
Let's get some lightsabers in there. Yeah. Come on. That could be really interesting. You know what I mean? There's like this one lone Belmont. He's still a Belmont. Yeah. He's still using magic. So everyone else is using science. Yeah.
Always one Belmont.
Right.
Yeah.
Vampires show up. They're all getting their asses kicked. They can't stop them. And a Belmont shows up saying, you kids in your newfangled, And
then Alucard shows up at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And bails them out still.
Still looks the same.
Still looks the same, yeah.
So we're in the same medieval.
Yeah, same clothes, the same magical sword, same long white hair. Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah. That'd be cool. I like that. That was a cool end. I like when Alucard showed up.
Yeah.
That was kind of a good, a good throwback. That's like the one throwback, really.
Yeah. And that's a great way to end it, too, because that's a great cliffhanger. Like, Alucard shows up, kind of helps him out.
Yeah, and then it's a turning point,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was I was like, oh, and I was like, I know this is gonna end now. I know it is gonna end. I was like, damn it, but damn it.
Yeah. And I didn't see it coming because it had been a while since I had seen, like the series. So I completely forgot about Alucard, or I just kind of figured, it's further along. So
maybe he had passed. Right, he's half human.
I'm not gonna look for any of those people, that were in it before, clearly. But that's right. Alucard is a vampire, isn't he?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
And then they didn't even it seemed like they didn't know who Dracula was. Am I remembering that wrong?
Net didn't know who Dracula was.
Yeah, what the fuck?
How do you not know? Yeah, you're fighting. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a few hundred years, I guess, since he had,
I guess he had died, so one of his legends had died. Oh, because even at the end, Richter's he's like, oh, you're Alucard, I didn't even know you were real. Even though his great grandfather, I guess.
I think they said 6 greats removed.
Okay, gotcha.
6 greats. So I mean, it's like 300 years worth of
lost the history for sure.
Yeah,
but
and that's how it goes.
Yeah, but he knew the name, but he's like, it's a legend. I didn't know you were real. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he shows up.
Nuts. Yeah, that was great. I love that ending. I was like, oh shit, yeah, that got me kind of excited. So
solid.
Yeah. Any more positives before we get into negatives?
Man. Nothing. The characters are pretty good overall. Actually, I don't have much of a complaint about them. Maybe not perfect, but I think overall, all the characters throughout have been pretty good in it. So, through all the seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I feel like I'm probably missing something. But between the animation and the story, again, there was a really great moment where they first go into one of these vampires, to look around and see if they can save one of their friends or see if he's there or not. And Tara goes with them.
Yeah.
And Tara's talking to can't think of her name right now, the girl from
Annette.
Annette, yes. Talking to Annette, and they're talking like, if your friend's down there, are you gonna be able to kill him? And Tara's asking her like, hey, if can you do that? Can you kill someone that you love? And clearly she was reflecting on herself and her emotion, how she felt about the fucking Abbott.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, you tricky little bitch. I did not catch that at first, but I caught it now. You're not talking about her. You're talking about yourself.
Yeah.
You vixen. But there were a lot of great moments like that. With Richter dealing with when he sees,
Orlocks
or whatever. For the first time.
And freaks out. All that confidence is gone.
And he was confident as fuck. And he's like, oh, I've only been afraid one time in my life. And when I see that, I'm like, I felt like he was being serious. I didn't feel like he was being braggadocious at all.
Yeah.
And then he sees this guy and he's like, we got to get the F out of here now.
Yeah, and he bails.
He bails.
Yeah.
And that's like, this motherfucker
ran away. Yeah.
He's supposed to be a Belmont.
Yeah.
There were a lot of great moments like that in this series. A lot of great ones. So, but let's move on to negatives.
Negatives. I don't have a whole lot, but this is as I guess as a series as a whole. One thing was the dialogue to me.
That was going to be mine too.
Oh, really?
It was not good. I mean, there was I don't know if you noticed. Oh, go ahead. Say what you're going to say.
Go ahead.
There was a lot of like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but if I've got to go, then I'm going to go for you. There was so much whispering. Like, why are you whispering? There was, and it seemed like in addition to the whispering that was always taking place, like Richter did that quite a bit.
Yeah.
It seemed like the animation they were animated doing something that might have been dialed up to 9.
Yeah.
But the dialogue was at like a 6.
Change it.
It wasn't. It didn't
match quite.
It didn't match quite. Yeah. What were you gonna say?
Even that for sure. But then also like the maybe the vernacular, some of the language felt kind of modern sometimes. I felt like they were like saying a lot of modern words like swag. They said swag a few times.
Did they say swag?
They said swag or maybe swag. Swag, I guess, is an older word. But I think they said like something about clothing and swag. And I was like, that's not something that they
I didn't catch that at all.
It might have been swagger. I think that's an older word, swagger. But it didn't quite fit. I was like, oh, that's something that we say now.
Yeah, I felt that way too, but I couldn't like qualify it. I didn't know like there's some point where Richter says something and she called him a dick and kind of stuff. Like, was dick a phrase they used back in like 1790 something?
Yeah, I know they were still calling sausage dick back then, right?
Right. I don't think that was a thing.
Like sausage you eat. So
that's our time, everybody. Good night.
But so there were a lot of like slang terms that felt more modern that wouldn't have been used back then.
Yeah.
I don't know when fuck was invented, but there's a lot of that.
That's a good point. I don't know. I feel like
or at least in the way that they were also using it felt very modern. So so I kind of felt like the dialogue was kind of written like kind of not quite to the period.
Yeah, I hear you.
So that kind of threw me out. A lot of times in the original series too was like that. Yeah. Like a lot of that happened. So I was kind of like pulled out of it sometimes. But I don't think they would say that back then. But
and it's not the worst thing in the world. But typically though, when you've got, especially with a series that you can clearly tell a lot of quality went into it.
Yeah.
For them to drop the ball at that point. Yeah. Or maybe they were trying to make it more accessible for the current audience, but
that's true.
I mean, again, I agree with you 100%. Like I always say, don't cater to mediocrity. Don't dumb down your show
because
for whatever reason, you were trying, keep it genuine, keep it real, do your homework, do your research, and put out that quality show.
Yeah, exactly, all around.
I agree with that 100%, man. The dialogue was weird.
Yeah, it didn't quite link up like the way it didn't quite.
It seemed like it should have.
Like with everything else going on in the show,
right? And I don't know if that comes down to like the director, the voice actors, how the voice actors were directed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how it was written.
Yeah, there's a lot of it that didn't jive, and like you said, it kind of takes you out of it. It's almost like you're driving along and you hit a bump. You're still driving, you're moving forward. You're still going along for the ride, but this thing just comes out of nowhere. The car backfires or something crazy. It's like, what the hell? Or No, I agree with that. I agree.
That was a big part of it. And then, I guess I was trying to think if this was negative or not.
Yeah.
I couldn't really quite figure out the vampires' place in this world throughout the whole series. Are they the leaders of the world? Are they not?
Mm-hmm.
Where's their station? Can they walk into a bar and, be normal, or are they outcasts? Or it's kind of like it kind of jumped around. Like sometimes they're royal and they're like these regal people.
Yeah.
But then other times people were scared of them, naturally scared of them. But I couldn't it didn't seem consistent throughout both Castlevania and the Nocturne.
Okay.
Where the vampires stood as far as the whole world. Did everybody know about vampires? Is everybody aware of them? Are they like a social class on their own? Where do they fit in this? I couldn't really tell all around. To me, I couldn't tell where they were at.
Yeah, I got the impression that at least with this particular series with Nocturne, that a lot of the vampires, they seem like they were the upper class. But at the same time, though, it also seemed like maybe that it wasn't known, or they didn't know that the upper class, or some of the upper class, were vampires. Which, and again, I don't know how that would work, because if all the upper class are not vampires, then some of the upper class are going to be like, that's a vampire, and you're not invited to my party. So you stay home.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you wear a mask or not.
Right. But I kind of feel like too. I feel like they said at some point that it was kind of this understood thing. Like they knew that some of the upper class were vampires, and they just kind of accepted it. I don't know if that if the whole government, all the upper class people knew that, or maybe just within that particular region.
Yeah.
They kind of let this particular group of upper class people kind of do their thing over there, and they left it at that. Yeah, it's hard to say. I think when it comes to vampires, especially in the Middle Ages and the Dark Ages and all that, which it's really interesting, because they straight up believed vampires were real.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of the same thing. I think I would imagine the townspeople and whatnot, they knew that there were monsters out there.
Mm-hmm.
And even when they had their revolutionary meeting and monsters showed up, they really didn't pay that much attention to the people, but they didn't seem like they were like, holy shit, monsters.
Yeah.
It was almost like one of those things, back then there were monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And again, those people back then were very superstitious.
Yeah.
Right? So they probably thought there were monsters all over the place. Looking back from our world, we know that's not the case.
Yeah.
And there are probably some people that think they probably were. Right. I'm going to say, you're allowed to think whatever you want, people. You're allowed to think whatever you want. We love and respect all of your choices and decisions. But there were not vampires, and there were not, effing witches in league with the devil back then. I'm just going to... You do what you want with that. You do what you want with that. I've had too much of the whatever. But from their perspective, they would have thought it was real, right? So they probably thought monsters at night, that's not that, that's real. We've always thought there are monsters at night, and now here they are. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm guessing. But as far as their place, it was a little weird. Or does all the upper class, they're all cool with vampires, or what?
Especially in this
or
world,
maybe they were because it's a kind of a, I don't know. And on some level I want to say it's a different world from quote unquote our world,
right? Yeah.
Or maybe it could segue in the theory, and it is our world that we're in, but maybe that's a whole different world where monsters and whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess what you're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was hard to track, I think.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah. And I watched all of it in a very short time.
So, you actually have a better perspective than...
Yeah, maybe, or I just had to condense all this and I'm having trouble tracking things. Mm-hmm. But even the original Castlevania, there's those four sisters were very regal and proper. They had a castle. They had this
the vampire
city.
sisters? Yeah.
But then there were other vampires that were raggedy and... whatever. So I think there's classes within the vampires, I guess, in
that makes sense.
Different countries, I guess, maybe. Yeah. But because even in this Nocturne, when he first meets his grandpa, when Richter first meets his grandpa, and that vampire walks in, he's like, "Where's the old man?" And everyone's like, "Oh, that's a vampire." And then they kill him. They fight. They kill him in there. What was the general acceptance of a vampire walking into a bar?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I was kind of trying to figure out where they were in society overall. And it seemed like it wasn't quite consistent, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's a good point. I forgot about that. Yeah, maybe there definitely could be some more explanation about that. Yeah, for someone to walk in, a vampire to clearly walk in and be like,
right.
I don't know. It seemed like people at the bar were like, "Oh, great, a vampire's here. Let me, keep my mouth shut and not make eye contact," kind of thing.
Right. Especially if everybody knows vampires existed, why would you ever be out at night?
Yeah.
Why would you ever be walking around the street at nighttime? When there's vampires, why would you do that?
That's always been kind of the interesting or the cool thing about vampires, and especially within that kind of time period. People were out there living their lives and doing what they're doing, but there was a boogeyman that was roaming around. It's interesting, people. I feel like I'm saying interesting a lot.
It is interesting though.
It is interesting. It's cool to think that people were living their lives and they were just. And I think it's the same thing. Even in reality, back in the day, people would go out. They would go to bars or taverns and they would hang out and do whatever. But they believed that monsters and vampires and whatever else, they believe that stuff was real.
Yeah,
so they were still going out and doing their thing. Yeah, risking oh shit, I may get jumped by a vampire if I'm not careful. But
it's like us with COVID. We could get sick, but we're still going to fucking concerts and shit. So yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
I was going to say, except COVID is real, but
well, yeah. But in that world, those monsters were real.
In that world, very true. In that world, monsters were real, right? And in our world, worrying about vampires back then, it's like, hey, stupid. But in that world, they are clearly very real.
Right. Yeah. So man, it's equivalent. I guess. I can see that.
Yeah, it's a very interesting world. Another beef that I had, I felt like these vampires were out in the daytime too much.
Yeah.
Why? And then sometimes they had an umbrella, and I feel like that's not really covering you enough. I feel
your legs or even even is indirect sunlight, that still would kill them, right?
I guess, and see, that's the thing, I guess, right? With a lot of vampire lore, it's always different. In Blade, Frost put on a whole bunch of sunscreen or makeup to keep the sun off. I'm like, what about your eyes, buddy? Come on,
Light's getting in there somewhere.
Yeah, light's getting in there somewhere, right? Yeah. And you're all burnable as far as the sun's concerned.
In the Castlevania, I think it was season 4 with the sisters, Striga, the big Russian one, she had that daytime armor that she could put on. It was completely sealed and
right.
Now I was like, okay, I get that, so she can, but
if you're walking out and you've just got somebody holding a parasol.
Yeah, and you're wearing, exactly. And you're wearing a freaking colonial or
Yeah, shit, not even dress. That one chick, that one with the purple hair, the black one with purple hair. Yeah. I feel like she was showing a lot of skin when there's a point where she gets out of a carriage.
Oh yeah. And the guy was carrying
just holding up a parasol, keep the sun off of her. I'm like, I feel like that's not gonna do it, right?
Light goes everywhere.
Yeah, but I guess it's like you said though. It has to be direct sunlight. There's all these different concepts about vampires. Vampires in some stories, they have to sleep during the day. But there's no. Not that they can't get up if they're attacked. They can't defend themselves, whatever. But they have to rest. They literally have to rest during the day. It's not like. I'm going to stay up and, fucking watch movies or whatever.
It's like the sun goes down.
That's part of your deal. That's part of your supernatural nature is you have to rest during the day kind of thing. And then, sunlight, direct sunlight, all these different weird cheats to get out of the sunlight. It's like, I don't know. It depends on.
Pick one.
Yeah, pick one.
Pick one. Pick a consistent one. Because there's that. Because again, back in the Castlevania with Striga, and like when they're trying to go on the campaign, someone shoots an arrow into the tent, and light comes through, and it burns their arm. Like that wasn't like the sun directly, but that was just light coming in. To the tent. Like that will kill you. Yeah, and there was a part too where
in this series where I can't think of that. She has some sort of weird name. But she was black with the purple hair. Yeah. Or pink hair. And there was a point where she was talking with the abbot and she does something because they're in a church, which that seems kind of funky. But I don't know, maybe that church isn't sacred ground anymore because you got this funky abbot. But she was doing something where she was kind of dipping her hand in the sunlight and you could kind of see like it was burning a little bit, not a lot. And she was just kind of doing that. And it's like, okay, well, now the sunlight wants to bother you for whatever reason.
But not when you get out of the carriage.
And then I keep messing up his name, Odark, whatever his name is.
Yeah, or I already forgot.
Yeah, I know. I messed it up. You probably knew, but as soon as I said my version, it's like I threw you off. He was out when he first meets that night. He's out in the sunlight. Yeah. And then at some point, like he's kind of in the shade, but just to get there, like there's a lot of sunlight.
I thought you can be in sunlight at all. Like there can't be light. It has to be dark.
That's so it's not even like you can be in like the shade or a little bit of shade.
Yeah, so there'd be no sunlight at all. That's what I thought. But that's what it seemed like.
Yeah, there were a lot of vampires walking around and
kind of inconsistent.
Way too much daylight.
Yeah,
right?
I agree with
Stick to the night, guys.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, it's not that tricky.
Any other negatives?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Did I have any of those? You got any other ones?
I don't think so. That was overall.
Yeah, I think like the dialogue was a little, dodgy. The characters were I think the characters were good. They got their history. I don't know. Maybe we'll get to see them develop a little bit more.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that I said in the beginning, I wasn't as big of a fan of these characters as I was the first round of characters.
Yeah.
I like Trevor Belmont a lot more than Richter Belmont. Like he's kind of a little like arrogant kid, that didn't really do much for me. But then when he started getting the magic abilities, which kind of happened pretty quick for some reason.
Yeah, whatever mental break he had. And I guess maybe all that magic that it all built up. That he'd been storing for years.
Right, it came out. But I mean, those fight scenes with his magic were amazing. So I was like, this is really cool. But I mean, getting to that I was like, oh, I guess whatever. That's cool. whatever your explanation is for that. But the characters, I think, just weren't as developed. I feel like it was the first one, but again, 4 seasons of the first one, and this is just the first season.
Exactly.
So I think we're going to see a lot more. And with what they did have, they did throw some good flaws and strengths in most of the characters as well. So I think they did a good job overall. But I just for 1 season versus 4 seasons so far, I like the original characters better.
Yeah. And I'm curious what they're going to do with the next season. What's going to happen with Tara, Maria's mom.
Yeah, clearly Tara's been turned.
Right.
Yeah, she has the thirst now.
Yeah, what's going to happen with the abbot and his knight and then whatever Odark or whatever that I mean that guy, he's a real wild card in this situation. Where does his allegiance stand?
From killing Julia Belmont, Richter's mom, to helping them.
To helping Richter, right?
Yeah, So,
how does that going to work? I mean, he clearly seems like I shouldn't say clearly because he's really just riding both sides.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll be an ally, and how is Richter supposed to be an ally to this guy? That killed his mother and that traumatized him to the point where like he couldn't use magic. He has no fear really except for him.
Right,
kind of thing. So, I'm not sure how that's going to work.
But it might create some layers, though.
Exactly. Yeah. So hopefully they don't drop the ball on that and just be like, whatever.
Because it's clear he got revenge because Julia killed somebody that he loved.
Yes.
It seems like it's like
quid pro quo.
Are they even?
Yeah, that should
maybe
be the next.
Even now.
Maybe they're even.
Are they even?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was one other thing too. Like I feel like Annette, they and I don't know, maybe this was just how it was animated or whatever, but I feel like when she was complaining about her friend being killed, right? I feel like it was all her fault. Like if you did not stand up and look at the vampire that killed your mom and freak out, and then he looked and saw you, or maybe they always knew they were there. It's a possibility.
Yeah.
But I got the impression that they were hidden. She stood up.
And then he saw
her, and then your friend got killed.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen some, and again, maybe this might have been mean, but it's like, the reason why your friends did is because
they
of
saw
you, right?
This was a reconnaissance mission. This wasn't a fight mission.
And you lost your shit.
You lost your temper.
Yeah. And then she kind of gets on Richter for losing his shit, too. And I was, I'm like, well, you kind of did it too.
Yeah, I mean, no one died when Richter bailed. Right. At least he warned you guys. Let's bail.
Yeah. He didn't just run or he just get everybody killed, right? So little things, and I don't know if that was maybe that. And sometimes I wonder if I'm being too critical about that, or maybe I'm reading. I don't want to say I'm reading it the wrong way. Maybe the animation didn't do it justice. You know what I mean? Maybe.
It feels kind of girl bossy to me. Very similar to the I don't do anything wrong and I'm right, and then by the end of the series I'm still right, and I'm not held to account for it. Oh, that's such a you may be 100% right about that. Yeah, and that I see that a lot now. I feel like it's getting old. That's getting Let me just tell you. Yeah,
and again, maybe it's not something they wanted to pursue, because I'm trying to think, maybe if it was a male character that had done that. Yeah. I feel like a lot of shows don't really hold other characters to task in that way. Yeah. But that's a very good point, though, because, that does happen quite a bit. Yeah. And so, but getting on to something else really quick, I heard people, there were some complaints, I guess, that the black vampire had pink hair, and they were saying like it was, I don't know if they were saying it was racist or there was something wrong with it because she wouldn't have had pink hair back then, and you're trying to, I don't know if they're trying to say you're trying to make her, not be black or whatever. Oh, really? Kind of thing. Yeah. And I don't know how much of it there was, but I do know that there were complaints about it. And I would say, maybe calm down a little bit, because especially when she gets taken out, like all of her, whatever her magic, it all disappears and she goes back to like her quote unquote normal self. Yeah. And she was you saw she just had black hair, like the pink in her hair disappeared or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. My thinking is a lot of these vampires are we're beyond this kind of stuff. I think they don't think of themselves as I'm a black vampire, I'm a white vampire. Yeah. I'm a vampire and everybody else is just shit for me to feed on. And if she wants to make herself look pretty or gorgeous by clearly willing herself to have pink hair or whatever, then that's what she did. Even the vampire god had like this like crazy red hair, you know what I mean? True, and then it's just animation. Yeah, so that's, all these, if you look at any animation, you're going to find crazy characters like that. I mean, look at even like Maria's eyes, for example, right? Maria and her mother's eyes. Yeah. Her eyes are like 4 different colors, and one of them is pink. So like
that's not an eye color.
Yeah, that's not an eye color.
Remember that every single anime has characters with blue hair and
or something
green
crazy.
Hair. That's like their natural hair color in that show. So
right.
No one's,
Japanese
people don't have those color hair. Sorry.
Yeah, it's true. They don't.
Go get mad about that too.
Yeah. So do me a favor.
Yeah, so take a step back.
Yeah, exactly.
And
calm the fuck
enjoy
down, mate.
For what it is. Like
exactly. Sure. Yeah, you're thinking you're looking way too hard.
Yeah, trying to find.
You're looking for shit. Yeah,
like, it's like that classic meme. Like, how does this offend me?
Let me watch this over and over again.
Yeah, to find a way to offend you. Yeah. Yeah.
But what do you give this show?
I rate the show pretty solid. I want to watch it one more time just to get a better opinion of it.
Yeah, I think you'll definitely catch all that. Like all that kind of like the little bit of the foreshadowing.
Yeah, I think so. But I think I would like watch it one more time through. I think it'd be good. But I'm just comparing. It's like I came right off of Castlevania Season 4
actually.
Into Nocturne. Yeah, and it's hard to not compare the two. Like
please do, because I'm just the opposite. So
right, I love the first Castlevania. I thought it was really good. Very good. If I'm sitting at like, say I'm sitting at like an 85 with Castlevania. Yeah, I'm maybe at like a 79 with Nocturne, 78 with Nocturne.
Okay,
so not quite. I didn't like it quite as much, but maybe we have 3 more seasons to get to.
Right,
and so. Yeah. And then like Castlevania's first season was 4 episodes. So I mean,
was it that short?
6 episodes, 4 or 6, really short, very short.
Interesting.
So yes, I mean, not you can't really make that argument, but yeah. So I think I'm probably at 78, 79.
Okay.
Pretty solid. But I'm holding out to see where it goes.
Yeah.
What about you?
I might give. I haven't seen the original series in a long time, but I know I did like it, so I might give it maybe just to be different. I'll say an 86. Right.
Okay.
I'm gonna give this new season. I'm also going to give it an 86.
Oh, okay.
Just because I like that level, there is some real depth going on with those characters, especially with the quote unquote bad guys. And even in the original series, they have these very flawed, interesting characters. A very noble and good character, but he's making night creatures. Right, so it's like, how do you look at that?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And so again, the same thing with this. I'm hoping for more, from, Richter, Annette, Maria, all those guys. Yeah. Even the friend that got turned into a night creature. Yeah. That was a very interesting character.
Yeah, still kind of aware.
And the character design, I was hoping he wasn't able to talk because I feel like the night creatures couldn't talk in the first one.
They did.
They did?
Yeah. Okay. Isaac was able to talk to his night creatures.
And they talked back?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he would ask him about, do you remember who you were before? And there's some great conversations.
Yeah. Oh, nice. But I did like his character design. Like the character designs are great. Like that. I mean, he had like a whole separate set of hands that were just covering his face.
Yeah.
Like, man, who thought of that? That's that's great.
That is great, yeah.
The character design was great. So I'm hoping to see some more character development in that. But just because they went so deep, I feel like in this particular series with the whole we're fighting for God, but I'm going to use the devil's tools to do it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, dude, what are you talking about right now? That's not even right. So for that reason, I'm going to give it also an 86.
That's a good point.
Even though they do have 4 episodes or 4 seasons, I'm going to give it an 86.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm going to say I'm somewhere actually between drop what you're doing to watch. Or, but it's definitely something you need to watch.
It.
Yeah, definitely watch it. Definitely watch it. It's really good. Even if, and you don't necessarily have to see the previous Castlevanias to enjoy this series. Yeah. It helps. It definitely helps.
Yeah.
But you definitely do not have to. You can watch this and be like, hey, here's the good guy. Here's what he can do. Or what he can potentially do.
Yeah.
Here's the bad guys, and this is what they're doing, what they can potentially do as well.
Yeah,
so,
definitely. Yeah, most definitely. That's pretty solid.
Yeah. I know Rotten Tomatoes, I feel like it doesn't matter what I feel like. Let's see what Rotten Tomatoes actually gave it. I actually looked it up earlier, but I'm going to double check it because I think Rotten Tomatoes gave this thing 100%.
Wow.
As far as the views. I mean, it's new.
Yeah.
It's new. Let's check it out really quick. Talk amongst yourselves. Stall, Trent. Stall for time.
Yeah.
Say something entertaining. Tell a joke. Okay, never mind. I already got it. Okay. So, wow. All right. So the tomato meter, 100%. Mm-hmm. The average audience score, 44%.
What?
That's
odd.
Right. That's
the biggest discrepancy I've ever seen.
That is.
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all.
That's what. Yeah, it's like, am I looking at this right? Like, what am I seeing? All right. So again, Castlevania Nocturne, the average tomato meter, 100%.
Yeah.
Like we don't see that very often.
No, not at all.
But the average audience score was 44%.
That's crazy. That doesn't make any sense.
That is a very odd discrepancy. That's a big difference.
Yeah. So I disagree.
Yeah, I definitely disagree with that too. Yeah. That is way off.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe I disagree with both scores. I mean, I wouldn't give it necessarily 100%, but I mean, I'm definitely, if I had to choose one, I would choose 100% over the 44%.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, that makes no sense because there wasn't anything really bad about this series, unless people were pissed that the original cast wasn't there.
Yeah, weird.
That is the stupidest thing I've seen.
Yeah,
I don't know who weighed in on the 44%. You're
wrong.
You're an idiot.
Yeah, you're wrong.
You're an idiot.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But yeah, no, for sure, check it out. It's a great show, I think.
I think so, yeah.
I think there's a lot to take away from it. So you guys should watch it for sure.
Yeah. If you just want to see an adventure thing, you like vampires, just
check it out for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, is that gonna be a talk on?
That's it. We did it. That's Castlevania. Nocturne.
Unfortunately, I have to pee so bad, so I'm gonna skip what we're
everything else.
What we into this week. Yeah,
I think didn't you intentionally go ahead of time?
But
you didn't?
I had an energy drink and 2 drinks, and I'm about to explode. Yeah.
All right. Well, let me tell you this one story. It takes place in
I'm leaving
1466.
Right now, I can't even move. But anyway, we just watched Castlevania. I watched a little FLCL, and that was basically it.
Yeah, same here.
But yeah,
that's about it.
Oh, well, but I mean, that brings us to what we're covering next week.
Yes, we are going to watch that. We're covering FLCL Grunge
and Shoegazer.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
they're both mini series. They're both
only 3 episodes, so you can watch it. You got time.
If you guys don't know what FLCL is, you guys should look it up.
Yeah, it's one of the. It's definitely one of the best anime that has come out of Japan. Yeah, the first. Yeah, true that. The first season. I think most people in America will testify to that. Yeah. I think you probably get a lot of Japanese people that will probably say it's one of their favorites as well.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it was
a lot of reasons.
Crazy groundbreaking. So
yeah. And so we're gonna cover the I guess it's like season 3. I guess technically season 3 and 4 or 4 and 5.
Maybe 4 and 5,
So we'll do that next week.
Yes.
So catch up with that.
Yeah. Only 3 episodes each, so really easy.
Yeah. But anyway, before my bladder explodes.
Yes.
From all of us here, Geek Off The Street, thanks for tuning in.
It's just us.
Yeah. Really, yeah. My name's Trent.
And my name is Marc.
And this has been
Geek Off The Street.
I'm peeing.
Wait, now, before you leave, let me tell you a story. Hang on. Hang on a second. It takes place back in the Viking era. I'm going to bring it up to today's time, but let me tell you, it takes place back in 1299. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you. All right, I'm going to talk amongst myself.